Dun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's another amazing episode of your favorite podcast, the one and only Keepin' It Rio. And this is the 263rd rendition of our show. And today is going to be an awesome episode. I can already feel it. This is going to be a cool one because this is another one of the episodes where I kind of reached out on Facebook and I got some people to be guests on the show that I've never met before. We literally just met like 2 minutes ago, and it's pretty awesome. So this is going to be cool. We're going to learn something together today, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So no hesitation at all, folks. Let me welcome our guest, Matt Pridemore, to the show. Welcome to the show,
what's up? Thank you for having me, man. Good. How are you? Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's been a little bit of a struggle for us to actually get on the same screen at the same time here for the last couple of days. So I appreciate your patience with us on that. And this is going to be an amazing episode. I'm very excited to hear your story, learn a little bit more about you and some of the stuff you're doing. So let's just kick it off, my friend. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just kind of take it from there and see what happens.
Yeah, man. Like I said, he said my name is Matt Pridemore. My rap name is just Pridemore, just my last name. Um, just an iron worker, tradesman, doing my thing. And then about a year ago, I got into the music game, slipped in with a couple friends, and backtrack a little bit. I've always been kind of freestyling and kind of entertaining the crowds and stuff at get-togethers and such. But about a year ago, I decided to take it serious and start making music. And with that music game, it came to, where do I want to go with it? What do I want to do? And my main thing was to tell a story, because life isn't easy. As most people know, life isn't easy. So I just started telling a story in my raps and just trying to be as real as I can and give people, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to put a smile on people's faces and maybe give them a little inspiration to, get out of the rut that they're in, whatever the problems that they come across, maybe somehow give them a solution through my lyrics.
There you go. And that's all we're trying to do, folks, is trying to be helpful, trying to give somebody something to relate to. Maybe somebody's going through something in life right now that this gentleman's been through, and he's explaining how he got out of it. And this is something that can help. So I love that. And I like the fact that you've been, kind of in music a little bit, indirectly your whole life. We all have. I was just singing some Jimmy Buffett in the car like 20 minutes ago on my way back here. That sounded pretty good. But
yeah.
I like what you just said about how, it just recently became something that's kind of fallen in as far as something that you're really going to dig into and try to make a future out of. So tell me a little bit about how that happens. Obviously, you're a grown man. So tell me a little bit about the story there and how you were, brought in and how you came to the realization, man, I've got the ability. I got the skills. I like to tell stories. Maybe this is for me.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, I was I'm really, really into reggae, man. That's like my main, if I'm not listening to hip hop, it's reggae. And I was at a reggae festival that an old friend threw on, Reggae Riverfest here in Colorado. And, one of the bands that was up, Ghostwave, shout out Ghostwave. If you don't know Ghostwave, definitely check them out. They were doing a fam jam and they invited people to come up, and, I was just, I was tapping into my inner chi, and it was, my past and everything. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go up there and I'm either going to make a fool of myself or I'm going to, put on a show. And I went up there and I just dropped a quick freestyle, portraying the story of what was going on the night before, making myself a fool. And the crowd went absolutely bonkers. So I had another friend who was there as well, Lion Lab. Shout out Lion Lab out of Fort Collins. Definitely check him out too. He hit me up and he's like, hey, it seems that you kind of have a passion for the rap game, and I make rap, I make beats, I make songs. Like, let's get you on a song. We'll see how it goes. And, sure as shit, he put me on a song, and the first song he put me on, I collabed with three legends from the UK, Pat Nugs, Moxie, and West Hax. And, after that, they were messaging me, giving me kudos, telling me, just basically boosting my ego, It's like, look, maybe I should, maybe I should see what I can do with this. And if it's not making money and it's not, making it into the industry and, living that kind of dream, at least I'm going to make some memories, press a vinyl out of it, make a couple CDs. And then in the future, people will be like, oh yeah, this dude made music for a little bit of his life. And that's it. I've done a lot of stages of life. I've done falconry. I've done all kinds of stuff to where, I can look back. I've lived in Australia, did hunting and all that stuff. So trying to form a legacy of my name, essentially. You know what I mean? It's just kind of been a goal of mine. And music has always been a big passion. So once I started doing it and getting good feedback, it was like, okay, I'm gonna keep pushing with this.
Man, I love that story. That right there is absolutely original. I never have heard anybody say, I got into it because basically I was at a festival and they asked if someone wanted to come up and perform, and I just did it. So I got to know, okay, you're in Denver or Colorado. It's a reggae festival. Tell me a little bit about your mindset when this happened. Were you just like, yeah, let's go? Had it been a festive day to that point? Is that some of the help that maybe gave you the confidence to get up on stage? Or were you just like, you know what? I'm just going to do this no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, if I could be real, it was a reggae festival. So we could, aside from the weed, there was a little bit of extracurricular that kind of probably boosted my ego. You know what I mean? But
there you go.
It was just one of those. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It was one of those moments where it just hit me. And it was like, I'm going to go up there. Cause I mean, backtrack. I made an ass hat of myself the night before, man. I was on some shit and just going crazy. And so I went up on stage and I told the exact story of what I did, apologized in my freestyle. And when I did it, everybody went nuts because everybody witnessed what happened. They all saw it. And then here I came just making a whole story about it and then apologizing in the same breath. So I don't know. It was groundbreaking, man. It was cool.
That's a damn good way to start your career. I'll tell you that. And like I say, nobody else has that story. So props to you for that. That's badass. And
yeah, thanks, man.
I love how you get up there, without any real care. And it's like, all right, I'm either going to look completely stupid or I'm going to look pretty good. And you opted to look pretty good that day in the eyes of the crowd. So you start getting a little adulation up there on stage. People start cheering. Start kind of looking around and seeing that they're excited about it. That's the moment, I'm assuming, when you were like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I could see myself doing this more. So you get down off of that and you're thinking to yourself, all right, man, that was pretty badass. Not gonna lie. I had a fun time up there. The people were liking it. Maybe this is something I could get into a little bit more. So let's talk a little bit about that process, that decision, the mind frame that you had there. Obviously, like you said, you've got a full-time job, got to pay the bills, got to put food on the table. Life as an independent musician is not the easiest thing from what I understand. I've had a couple artists on here and they've all basically told me, the chicken ramen noodles are the best ones because
creamy
that's
chicken,
basically
creamy
what you
chicken.
eat. Yep.
Creamy chicken.
And I love the creamy chicken is so good. That's the light yellow. And that's the Roofer. I know all about those. So you get into it and it's like, all right, this is something where, obviously you've got a passion. Obviously you want to pursue it, but at the same time, you're kind of like, you know what? If it doesn't work, it's a chapter in my book. It's something that when I look back, 100 years from now, I'm going to say, damn, I did that. That's pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit about the process. You get in there, you get a little bit of recognition. You're still just a regular guy, though, at this point that now has a dream. So tell me a little bit about how you make this dream a reality. What kind of people do you look for? What kind of things do you, find yourself getting into in order to get discovered a little bit more or just to get those opportunities presented to you?
Yeah. Well, so like the first couple songs I did, I got beats from Ill Informed out in the UK. Shout out Ill Informed. And he's got quite the following, man. He's a big producer in the UK. So my first couple songs that I had that I was able to attach his name to really, really boosted my numbers. I mean, far beyond anything that I've done outside of Ill Informed. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, like I said, the main focus is just the numbers. The numbers can really fuck with somebody's head. When you release a song and you look on Spotify and you see, first day only 100 people listen to my song. It is a little bit grueling to the brain, but at the same time, I'm not making a bag from it. I'm having fun. I'm just collecting just collecting my thoughts in a record for the people to hear. And as far as like getting my numbers heard, man, it's the promotion part of it is so hard for me because, like you said, the full time job, I don't have time to come home and make TikToks and YouTubes and, do all that nonsense. Well, not nonsense, but that marketing side of things. I got a family, I got kids to take care of. You know what I'm saying? I just don't have time to really dig into the marketing side of it. So, Dom Holland, shout out Dom. He's really helped me with what I can do as far as what I can afford and just get my name out there as much as I can. I mean, I can't I can't really push it and push it and push it like I would like to, but I feel like the tortoise in the hare, bro. I'm the tortoise right now. I'm taking my time. I'm running at my own pace and just doing my thing as I can.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you're familiar with the story, but the tortoise ended up winning the race. So I think that's
Exactly.
the
So
move.
that's
And
it
that's the
just
way
took
I've
him a
always
while. It
viewed
just took him a
life.
while.
Took him a
Yeah.
while. He learned along the way, and that's just part of life. So I love what you just said there. You're getting in, you've got some pretty good recognition, and things are starting to look pretty good. But again, you've got a full-time job, you've got a family, you've got everything else on the table, don't really have a lot of time to invest in this. So this is the next thing I always love to ask authors, creators of any sort with the family. This is kind of a new thing. You've been doing it for, a year or so.
hmm
Full support of your family across the board on everything. I know this is probably something that takes a little bit of your time away from them when you get home from work and it's like, well, I got to go put something together for a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the dynamic that your family has given there and the support that they've given you. Have you had any kind of pushback of any sort with that?
So actually, it's been incredible, man. My girl, Ashley, she's actually on one of my tracks, Back to the Peaks. It tells a story about us moving to North Carolina, getting betrayed by a snake in the grass. And she's my biggest fan. Um, and then her kids, my stepkids, essentially, they came out, the other day and said, "Hey, I saw," because he's got YouTube. He goes, "Hey, I got a notification for your release today. I showed all my friends. I love it." You know, they're very supportive and they love my 2 year old. If the first three notes of one of my songs starts playing, she's just right. "Oh, that's daddy. That's daddy." She's just excited as hell to hear it. They all dance. They love it. So it's heartwarming, man. It's really cool to have the support that I need to do what I'm doing, and be able to do it without any, close judgment, close resentment, someone trying to stop me from doing what I'm doing. The only thing that's going to stop me from doing it is if I can't financially support my family and keep doing it. But as long as the family has my back, then, I'm going to keep pushing, man, trucking like a Peterbilt.
Hell yeah. And you know what? I'll tell you a secret. You get a couple gold records on the wall behind you there, you're not going to have to worry about paying the bills. So that's something
Yeah.
that we're just going to put out into the world right now. You're going to have a couple gold
Yeah.
records on the wall here in a year or two. We'll
Let's
look back and
manifest
I'm like,
that.
man, remember that dude when he was on Keepin It Rio? That's awesome. So that is so cool. I love the dynamic. I love that you're doing it for passion. And if it doesn't go 100% your way, it's going to be all right. Because I know a lot of people get fully invested and they're 100%. It's like, I quit my job. I live in my car, like I'm selling
Mm.
records out of the back of my trunk and this and that. And to me, I mean, I don't know. I own a roofing business. Trust me. If it doesn't rain over here, it's kind of stressful for me because people need roofs, but they don't know they need them. Kind of the
Yeah.
same thing going with what you've got. People maybe don't know exactly what you've got. They don't know quite yet what they need. So I want to ask you about the distribution of your singles that you've had so far, how you get them out to the people. Obviously, we live in an era where you've got, Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. But as far as like physical inventory, like you said, pressing some vinyl, getting out to the people, what kind of process is that for you? How does that look on your end as far as, the marketing that you are able to do for your music?
So the physical part of it, I really haven't even dabbled into, man. I just kind of, so I got, so I started in January of last year, man. Last year I put out 11 songs. Well, like 14 with my collabs and stuff that I did with other artists. Um, and then since then, still I've been putting out more, and my first album, hopefully going to be ready for here at the latter part of this year. So once I actually get that first album out, you know what I mean? That's when I'm probably going to start trying to push some more physical copies. I got a couple shows coming up in August. So maybe get a couple singles on some discs and everything to do. But like the physical aspect, man, I haven't really jumped into that, to be honest with you. I'm still so new in the game. You know what I mean? I'm strictly put it on distro and let them do all the work for me.
I love that. And why not?
Yeah.
Simplify things. That's what I tell people. Simplify it as much as you can. Get rid of all the crap work that you don't want to do. Find someone that's good at it and say, here, do it.
Yeah.
And
Good.
that's a surefire way to get, a lot of stuff done that you may not have gotten done otherwise. So I definitely appreciate and respect that. I love the fact that you're taking your time with it. And it's like, okay, putting out some quality stuff, making sure that everything is going to be first class and you're not just throwing it out there to, basically get on whatever platform it is and start making a bunch of money. That's going to come after the fact, and the quality is what starts. So let's talk a bit about how you actually produce your tracks. I've had a couple artists on here recently, and everybody seems to have a completely different way. One dude was doing it from a nightstand on the side of his bed with an iPhone. Another dude had a complete studio setup. So let's talk a little bit about Pridemore and how you handle that side of the business. How do you go from an idea in your head to something that's solid, that becomes an actual tangible product that you can put out to the world to be inspired by?
Yeah. So I've been from the moment this all started, I guess looking back, when you put it like that, I guess I kind of got spoiled because my boy Lion Lab out here in Fort Collins, he got me in his. So I guess, I mean, it wasn't essentially a studio, man. It was a microphone in an extra bedroom with a computer and, some echo resistance. And then, through all this music adventure, I met Inside the Mind. Shout out Inside the Mind out here in Fort Collins, reggae band based out of Loveland. He, uh, he invited me to be in one of his music videos for one of his songs. And at that music video, I met, a fellow by the name of Kale Farnham at the Lyric Lab. Shout out Lyric Lab. If you don't know Lyric Lab, look them up. Badass producer, good prices. He'll take care of you. But I met up with him and, yeah, I got lucky, man. He invited me over to his spot and he's got a professional studio, like, top notch mics, everything you need. And so I got lucky. I'd go over there and I would do my 10, 15, 20 minutes of vocals. And then boom, within a day and a half, he'd have me a rough draft and, we'd start brainstorming and next thing you know, the track is born within 2 weeks. So I got lucky. I didn't have to, I do have my own mic. I run Ableton. But I just bought a house. So I haven't really set up the studio and everything. But so for now, I just kind of lean on the resources I have. Right. So I got some really good homies that do music. So I got lucky in that game.
Yeah, I love it. That's good. I mean, like you say, cut out any of the sitting on the corner of your bed with an iPhone crap as much as you possibly
Yeah.
can. That's a
Yeah.
terrific way to go about doing it. So I love the entire process, everything that you got going on. I want to ask this: as far as lyrics, as far as what comes out of your mind and ends up on paper, which ultimately ends up over the airwaves. Tell me a little bit about your thought process. Where does this stuff come from? I've had guys that were driving FedEx trucks and they were, basically rapping all day to themselves
You
about
talking about
whatever they were
Caspa?
dealing with. You're an iron worker, so you probably got all kinds of shit on your mind and you got nothing but time. So tell me a little bit about how your thought process goes from a basic concept into let's roll with this, and then you start writing the lyrics accordingly. How does that work?
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as FedEx rappers, I got to give a shout out to Caspa Clark.
That's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, oh
It was
yeah.
Caspa Clark. He's a good
Casper
dude.
Clark's my homie, dude. I got multiple songs with Casper. We got some unreleased too. So shout out Casper. He's a good dude. Um, yeah, man, the lyrics just, to be honest, personal experience, um, trauma, you know, um, I don't know, man. Like one of my biggest hits, right, or one of my biggest, most played songs right now is "Not Really Friends," and that's essentially about hanging out with people for a long time. Taking care of them, doing everything, but when the party ends, are they really your friend? Because I'm sure everybody can relate to that. Who you think is your friend doesn't really end up being your friend in the long run. It all comes to an end. And then the growing up, the art of growing up, the struggle of growing up. I just put it into, I don't know, poetry, I guess you could call it, and turn it into rap. I feel like it can relate to a lot of people because I know for a fact I'm not the first person to ever go through the struggles that I'm going through or that I've been through, but at least maybe my lyrics can, you know, maybe dabble into the feelings of those who have.
I like it. And you know what? That leads me right into the next question I had. I've gotten all these people on here, and the number one thing I love to ask people, and it gets the best response. Obviously, your story is pretty unique. Like you say, you just kind of one day decided on a whim, like I'm about to become an entertainer. Let's see if it works. Boom, it worked. You became an entertainer. You've got the process down. You've made some, huge strides in a short period of time. Now, there's two parts to this question. I'll ask you the first one, which is kind of the bad, and then we'll go with the good afterwards. So, during this entire process, I know that there's, all kinds of stuff going on in life. Like you said, you've got plenty of things going on. This is something that's in addition to an entire life. Have you had any moments where you just thought, you know what, screw this. I don't want to do this. It's not really worth it. Have you come close to giving up at all yet?
Yeah, of course, man. When, you know, like I said, but that goes back to what I said before, the numbers will kill a man's head.
Oh,
When I came to the realization that I honestly at this point I'm doing it to entertain my friends, get good feedback from those I know, and if some good feedback comes from the outside world, then cool. But I've had a lot of I've had some negative reviews. For every 10 good review, I have that one person who just tries to bring me down. But at the end of the day, I'm doing it for me and mine. So, have I wanted to give up? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. When the numbers aren't hitting, yeah, I think about giving up. But I'm past the numbers now. It's just for fun, man. And if I can make some skrill from it and move on, that'd be great. That'd be cool. And if I can touch some souls and change some lives, that'd be great too. But as of now, just have fun. Just have fun with it.
what a great perspective. I mean, you're never going to get too stressed out as long as you just maintain that level playing field and just say, and whatever happens, it's
Yeah,
what's going to happen.
exactly.
So I love that. And you nailed my next question perfectly, because the opposite of that is, okay, people that are down, they're at the point where it's like, man, this isn't worth it. It's taking too much time. It's too expensive. I don't spend time with the family. Everything sucks now. And then they get this one random person that comes from out of nowhere. And like you just said, you're doing it the majority for your friends, your family, the people around you. But if you're going to become a worldwide phenomenon, eventually other people are going to hear your music and give you that feedback. I love that you
Hmm.
said for every 10 positive, you get one negative, because usually that's a pretty damn good ratio. Normally it's like half and half. You come to find out that
Right.
most of the people in the world they're just haters. They're not going to do anything with their
Yeah.
life. So they're just going to try to piss on you.
Yep.
And that's cool. The world needs people like that too, because it motivates us somewhat. And it also shows us, we're doing all right in life and who we are. But with that, the positivity. There's always that first story, that first person that you don't know, that you've never seen before, that you have no clue who they are. Somehow they stumbled upon one of your tunes and they're like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to this guy and I'm going to let him know how this impacted me personally. Have you had anybody? I know it's been kind of a short ride so far, but have you had anybody thus far that's reached out to you and said, man, we've never met before, but I feel like you're speaking directly to me?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the shows I was performing at, I was, I was going along and, it was one of my first performances. So I was kind of focusing on staring off into the distance and not letting the people, distract me. But I couldn't help it because I looked down and there was someone I've never seen before rapping every single lyric. And it was like, after the show, I walked up and I was like, hey, do I know you? And they're like, no. no, but I love your music, blah, blah, blah. It was really captivating. I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, I've never met a person in my life, and somehow they knew every lyric of every song I rapped. It was nuts.
That's tremendous. And there's probably for that one, there's probably at least 100 others that you'll maybe never see, or thousands more that you'll never meet. And I think it's awesome when you have that moment and it's just like, damn, this dude over here like is really into this and he really knows
Yeah.
my shit. And that makes you even more prideful. And well, your name's Pridemore, so of course
Yeah.
you got the pride down, and you start to see that. And obviously, that's good motivation. It gets you pumped up, and all those thoughts about giving up like 10, 5 minutes ago, they're gone now
Yeah.
because all of a sudden, man, I got fans now. I got people that like know my stuff. They're coming to my shows and doing all that. And
Yep.
that is a tremendous story right there. I
Yeah. It's
gotta
a good
ask
feeling.
this. Today is June 20th. And on our call sheet thing that we have for the podcast, it said something was going to be happening today on June 20th on there. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about this. I don't know if today ended up being the day or not, but you had a release coming out. So I want to ask a little bit about your upcoming release and, what's going on there.
Yeah. So I had a new song drop at midnight called "Sick of It." It's it's a song pretty much like another one that I feel like everyone can relate to, man. It talks about the current problems, the government, you know, our kids not being able to play outside at night, just a bunch of random issues. And I got Citizen Nugs from the UK. Shout out Citizen Nugs. Definitely check him out. And then Seth Squatch from here in Colorado on it. But yeah, it's a very real powerful song. One of my proudest songs I think that I've ever put out, man. It talks about the political structure and just how the world's not okay right now. And we all need to look within.
Yeah, no kidding, man. That's one that I'm definitely going to check out as soon as our episode is finished here today. I do want to ask for anybody that's watching the show that wants to get some of your music, wants to learn a little bit more about you as an artist. What are some of the ways that people can find you? What are some of the ways that they can actually participate in your music career by, throwing a couple bucks at you and saying, "Man, this song was well worth that."
Yeah. So, I mean, you can find me on Spotify, Pridemore, Instagram, Pridemore_official. And then as far as throwing me money, you know what? I mean, I haven't, other than DistroKid saying that they can charge me on Apple, I haven't really even set up Bandcamp or anything like that. I mean, maybe I should, but like I said, I'm not at that point of, I've spent a little bit doing it, but I used to be into a lot worse things that I spent more money on, if you feel me.
Yep.
So I'm to a point now where it's like if I throw, you know, 50 to $100 at a song every now and then, I'm not looking. If DistroKid pays me, that 0.00333 cents per stream that I get, but I haven't really looked into like really making money from it yet. I eventually maybe we'll start a band camp and people can donate and stuff like that. But as far as for now, just check me out. I'm on every streaming platform. The name Pridemore, Pridemore. Yeah, just enjoy the music and ride the wave with me for a little bit.
There you go. And you don't even have to pay for that, folks. So there's no
No.
excuse not to, man. Let's get this guy as many downloads or views or whatever as we possibly can, because he's not even doing it for the money. This is straight passion. And I respect that a lot. But it does kind of bring me to my next set of questions as well. Obviously, with passion, over the course of time, it starts to get to be, like this is my 260th podcast. I'm 5 years into it. And I didn't even know I was going to do a second episode, honestly. It starts to become time consuming. It starts to kind of get you, to where you've got a lot of stuff going on all of a sudden. And with you and the music, I love your mindset right now, but at some point you're going to have to sit down and look at that and say, all right, do I have a legitimate opportunity here? And am I going to, take that and try to run with it as best I can? So the question I have is, 5 years from now, what does your life look like in your perfect scenario as it pertains to life in general, your music, your everyday stuff, does it kind of look the same? Have you decided 5 years from now that you're going to be the next big thing? And, you know, we're seeing your name all over everywhere because you are the next big thing? Or is it just going to kind of stay as a passion project and just something that, you know, you just do because you love?
Yeah. So I guess in the 5 years, from 5 years from now, I'm hoping that I've made 5 years worth of mortgage payments on time. I
Yeah.
got some, I got some asparagus that I planted in the back, and it's going to take about 5 years. So I'm hoping that prospers here.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, my 2 year old daughter, I'm hoping that she makes it to 7, gets through school and does everything she needs to do. And as far as the music goes, man, if it takes off, it takes off, bro. I don't, every time that I've tried to hold my breath for something or, you know, more or less, not wishful thinking, but yeah, wishful thinking, it always leads to disappointment. So if I keep doing it and I make good money and it blows up and I do bigger than I'm doing now, then that'd be awesome. But at the same time, I'm 39 years old. I've gone 37 and a half years without making music. So if it doesn't pan out, I can go another 37 and a half and I'll probably be okay, you know, but
Yeah.
hopefully at one point it does gain traction. That'd be cool to get a little extra coin. That would be sick to stop having to drive from job to job and work as a tradesman. But at the same time, I'm prepared for that more than, you know, the money bag from music, because the money bag from music, as everybody knows, who's listening to this, is a very difficult game. And a lot of people have to sell their soul for it. And I'm not that type of person to sell my soul. So if it comes organically and I can make it, cool, but I'm not pushing it.
I like that mindset, man. I'll tell you what, this is extremely refreshing because most people that you talk to, they are so heavily in that it's just like, I don't have a plan B. If this doesn't work, I'm completely screwed. And like, you know, I mortgaged my house off, you know, to finance my first album. And it's like, man, that's a bad idea because it doesn't always work out. So I'm happy to hear that you've got your head on straight at least, and that you're not, you know, going out there thinking, man, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And then end up, you know, 5 years down the road thinking, oh shit, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good
And
for you on
severe
that.
depression, disappointment. I'm not about that. I'm not about, you know what I mean?
Yep. And life's too short. You know, we spend all these years trying to do what we think other people want us to do. Then when we finally start to follow our own dreams and everything is when you really become happy in life. And
Yes,
I can
sir.
tell that you're not living a very stressed life. And that is coming through the camera very clearly, you know, like this dude's having fun. He likes what he's doing. He's enjoying himself. He's still keeping his life, you know, pretty balanced. And that's the key to happiness. So good for you, man. This may not be about music at all. This could be just about the mindset that you need to have in life and just not
Yeah.
letting things bother you. Like you say, the numbers. Yeah, I let the numbers bug me forever on this podcast. When you talk to sponsors and things like that, that's the first question they ask. Well, what kind
How
of
many
numbers do you get? How
followers?
many
How many
people? And I'm like, fuck,
subscribers? Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even have a clue. If y'all can figure it out for me, let me know. I just tell people I'm coming to take Joe Rogan out. And at some point, if I'm going to get to number one, then there's going to be a bunch of people that know who I am. So that's worked out
Yeah.
all right thus far. And Joe's right down the street from me in Austin. I think he
Is he
feels the
really?
footsteps every single day. Every episode I do,
Nice.
I'm like, all right, Joe, we're coming. But
Uh,
again, this isn't my main thing. And I love doing it. And I do probably 2, 3, 4 podcasts a week. And we've got another one that I do where we're actually on a radio in Atlanta. We've got a TV show that we do as part of that as well, which is really cool. But I never set out for that. I just was like, this podcast started off as me and 3 buddies just bullshitting with each other, talking about what happened that week for our roofing business. And it just
well,
kind
that's
of
awesome.
evolved into something completely different. But the whole thought behind it was always the same thing. If it doesn't work, I don't really care. I enjoy
Yeah.
doing it. I get to talk to people from all over the world. I get to talk to people about their stories, and I get to hear some of the most amazing things that people have accomplished, you know. And if nobody watches this, I could care less because our conversation is going to help me. And I know that people watch it because I do have sponsors and I have people that reach out all the time and say, man, I like the podcast. So it's cool to have that mentality and just know if this thing all ended tomorrow, I'd be fine. I still have my roofing company. I still would wake up and go do things, but it is kind of fun to have that. And it's kind of fun to build it and watch that following kind of develop and really get to see, you know, what you're built or what you're made of on the inside as well. So I love that. And I guess we'll kind of start trying to wind down a little bit. You know, like you say, in the future, if this works, great. If it doesn't, that's going to be fine. You're prepared either way, which is brilliant. Most people don't have a plan B, myself included. Right. And it's like, you know, you get to have some fun, you get to enjoy it, but you're not going to put yourself out there and say, if it doesn't work, I'm going to kill myself, or I'm going to, you know, everything in life that I worked so hard for is gone. And I think that's probably the coolest part about maybe starting a dream or a journey a little bit later on in life. Like you say, in your late 30s, it's different than if you're doing it in your teens. And it's different if you're in your 20s and your entire life was laid out, you know, based on what you were. And now you're going to include this in. So I think it's going to be awesome. I want to ask you if you'd be willing to come back on the show sometime down the road, because I want to kind of follow your career in music. I want to see how things go, but I also want to kind of talk again down the road and say, hey man, did everything work out the way that you thought it would? Did you keep that great mindset, that great mentality about it? Was everybody still supportive and all that stuff? So I'd love for that to happen somewhere down the road if you'd be willing to do it.
Absolutely.
Before I bid adieu to our fans today and I give a big speech about our sponsors, I would like to ask you, any final thoughts, any words of wisdom that you'd love to spit out there to the millions and millions of people when this show's going to be watched 20 years from now and we've already taken Joe Rogan down and you're already the #1 hip hop artist in the United States? People are like, they were doing it good all the way back then. So tell a little bit about words of wisdom for the folks watching. If there's someone out there that's like, man, you know what? I kind of want to do my dream, but what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? People that just have, you know, nothing really going on at the moment, and they just want some inspiration from a guy who basically said, screw it. If I look bad, I look bad. If I look good, I look good, but I don't really care that much. So give the fans their advice as far as that goes.
Yeah. So just like you said, if I look bad, I look bad. If I look good, I look good. The main thing you got to do is, if you want to do it, then do it, and don't do it to please other people. If you're an entertainer and you want to do it to please other people, sure, you know, that comes down to time, because you're going to have to gain traction. But as far as like following what you want to do, and just commit, do not worry about outside opinions, because those outside opinions don't pay your bills. Do not worry about what other people have to say. If it's negative, that means they're probably negative. They have nothing going on in life that's worth anything, and they feel like they need to lash out on you. Do your thing, stay positive, smile, spread the light, be the light in someone else's life, and keep pushing. Do you. We're all in a struggle together. We're all going through this struggle. And so all you can do is do what you can do it the best you can do, and block out the haters, because there's, no matter where you go in life, you're going to come across haters.
There's no doubt about that, folks. And we all know about haters, especially the people that are in the roofing industry. There's a shit ton of haters in our deal. So we understand completely what's going on there. And I agree. I think that if you can just focus on yourself, you'll be much happier in life.
Yes, sir.
Spend too many years giving a crap about everybody else. And when you turn around and you need people, you look around and realize you probably put more into it than they did. So that is awesome. Yep. I want to end this with probably my favorite part of the entire podcast, which is very simple. I want to tell you a little bit about my sponsor. My sponsor is an amazing company called Roofer. It's ROOFR, roofer.com. And Roofer is your all-in-one resource for your roofing company. We literally can catch leads off of our ads, off of our landing pages, directly from our roofer. Takes us all the way through the entire process. It measures the roofs. It puts together the material orders. It puts together the orders for the crew. It sends everything out, makes sure everybody gets what they need, puts the jobs together, lets the homeowners and the building owners know when we're going to be there, what we're going to be doing. After the fact, it collects all of our payments and then reminds them later on that they need to call us for maintenance. So you guys have been watching this show for hopefully everybody's been here since episode 1. I know I'm getting some new fans now, and y'all need to go back to episode 1 and kind of catch up. But Roofer's awesome. They've been my sponsor for 4 years. You guys know I love them. Even if you're not a roofer, just get Roofer because it's fun to play with. So that's pretty much it as far as that goes. I definitely want to thank the people that are loyal to Keepin' It Rio. I got a new logo back here, and actually this is going to be the second episode with the new look here. So pumped about that. I appreciate everybody that watches every week. I would still do it without you, but it's way more fun with you guys. So much respect to that. And Matt, thank you for taking the time to be here, my friend. I'm looking forward to following you. I'm going to kick on my little turtle box speaker here in just a few minutes, kick Spotify on, and I'm going to familiarize myself with your tunes. So appreciate you. And I always end it with the most corny ass thing ever, which is my tagline to end the podcast. And y'all know that is very simply keep on keeping it Rio. And we'll see you guys next week. Stick around for just a second after I end this. I'm going to play a quick ad, and then you and I will finish our conversation on the backside, my friend. Thank you, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you. I found Roofer online about 7 years ago, used it one time, and it's been the only thing I've used ever since. It's basically a program that makes your life a lot easier to measuring roofs, putting together proposals, things of that nature. Roofer fulfills every need that we have. Our homeowners are always impressed by the presentation. They're able to kind of look at things differently and learn at their own pace. They sign the documentation online. It's the #1 CRM in the industry. Everything that you can get with Roofer is going to help your business grow. I think that y'all should do it for sure.